Welcome back everybody. Jose Rodriguez here. We are going to now tackle the second video in the series that I started not too long ago, basically addressing what people are having a lot of problem with, and that is producing a neutral print, regardless of whether you print full-blown color or full-blown lack of color. We'll call it monochrome. That's the correct term, by the way, not black and white. So be aware of that. In order to be able to achieve a truly neutral black and white, that means neutral from black all the way across every single gray tone, all the way to the paper base, which is whatever color that may be. All of your tones have to be neutrally linear. And in order to achieve that, you often need a custom profile. But we're just gonna, at this point, keep it simple. We're just gonna go ahead and print with the driver itself. Now, in order to do that, you have to do a printer certification. And I just invented that term myself. It doesn't really exist out there. Simply what that means is you gotta ensure or find out whether your printer by itself, out of the box after installation, and all of the things that you need to do, such as nozzle check, head alignment, can produce a really good rendition. And I use really good, not perfect, because there is no such thing as perfection, out of that standard image or the evaluation image. Now that is found in my Facebook group, or you can just search for Outback test images online and you will be able to find a site. And I believe it's in the UK. What I have done is compile a bunch of files together that I know you will find very useful, and you can download the complete pack or just the individual evaluation V002 TIFF. It's a Profoto RGB file, by the way. So I'm going to take you through the steps that you need to do in order to be able to print this correctly through whatever application you are using. And it has to be a color managed application, not Windows Photo Viewer. That's not going to work, okay? You need to use a photo editor such as Photoshop, Lightroom, Qimage. Any of the other raw processors out there will also work. Anyway, let's go ahead and begin. So I am a Windows worker. If you are a Mac user, I'm sorry, I just cannot help you because I'm not really that familiar with its workflow and the way it manages color management. So let's go ahead and look at the control panel. We're going to choose devices and printers, and we'll arrive at this window. I'm going to go ahead and pick the most popular printer out there. As you can see, I have several printers here. Right click and printing preferences. And I'm going to go ahead and minimize this because we're going to go back and check out an EPSON printer next. And then I'm going to show you how to proceed through your photo editor, how to go ahead and open that image correctly and print it correctly. So what we want to achieve, and I forgot to show you that. Our goal, of course, is always to print this image. And we want it to be rendered neutrally. Now, the reason we do this is because this is your standard. This is your baseline by which everything else is measured against. If you get this correctly printed, then it should be a piece of cake to get this correctly printed. If after you master this process, the simplest way, and that is using the driver, I know a lot of people really chastise me for that, but you can with Canon printers. Canon printer drivers use ICC profiles to print simply when you choose the correct matching Canon. It has to be Canon paper type. So if it's ProLuster and you choose ProLuster, guess what it does? It loads the ProLuster profile for you. Oh, but I thought I was not using color. Oh, yes, you are using color management. The Canon driver allows you to do that. It's magical, but it really works well. Later, if you want to and have the ability to do so, you can create a profile for your own use. And this is the color chart that you would create and then print and scan. But we're not going to get into that at this point. Let's go ahead and jump back to the desktop view. So here we have the Pro-100 driver. Now when you open it from the very first time, and most of the time, if you're not careful, what you're going to see is this. It's going to be defaulted to standard. What does that mean? Standard is kind of a combination setting that allows you to print good graphics, text, and such. Check out this little icon right here. This little avatar shows you what looks like a text page and then maybe possible bit of graphics. No, we're printing photos. We're printing photos. Click on photo printing. Makes sense, doesn't it? And then you see a facsimile of a photograph. So that is what we want. Immediately it will default, I don't know why it does that, to borderless printing. Undo that, please. Undo that. Now, we're going to choose our paper. I love my ProLuster, so we'll choose ProLuster. When you get a new printer, they give you a few sheets for free included in the box. Then you must choose ProLuster paper choice. This is your quality level or your printing resolution. Let's not get into that right now. Basically, it just means how many horizontal and vertical dots it's going to lay down. The higher the quality, the more dots will be packed within a square inch worth of printed space. Nothing to do, remember, nothing to do with your image resolution. That is pixel resolution. The term DPI and PPI are so misused out there by people who should know better. I like to smack them behind the head and say, hey, two different terms, not related to each other whatsoever. So quit using DPI instead of PPI when it comes to image resolution. DPI pertains to the printer only. Okay, so keep that in mind. So next thing we will do is choose the paper size. And in this case, it's just 8.5 by 11 letter size. If you are outside of our country, then you will be using A4, A5, whatever the size happens to be in the metric measurements. So we are ready, or are we? We are not ready yet. We are not. Let's go ahead and choose high quality because we always like to print at the highest quality. We have to click on this box. You will arrive at a manual adjustment. Remember, this is called color/intensity manual adjustment. So this window allows you to perform manual adjustments for cyan, magenta, yellow. But you know what? We don't have to do that. We really do not. If everything is working correctly, you will not have to do this. But what we will do is we're going to go ahead and set up the driver as a default setting for the time being. By the way, please get yourselves a box of Canon paper if you're working with Canon printers. Do not right away get yourself a box of some other brand. Get a box of Canon paper that you have a matching paper choice for in the drop-down menu. We're going to go to matching. Simply choose ICM. This is your rendering intent. I use relative colorimetric. Okay, we are now defaulted after we click apply. Okay, so very quickly I'm going to show you how to set up a EPSON SureColor P800 to perform the same thing I just did on my Canon printers. Right click on the icon, printing preferences. Go ahead and close that. This is setting it up for printing through the driver alone. You're going to, of course, require an EPSON paper to match it to. You're going to choose color. Quality options basically give you max quality, and quality options gives you an adjustable quality setting. This is your dot per inch resolution, finest detail, all of that good stuff. Notice that I have off, no color adjustment. We're going to change that to ICM as we did in the Canon printer. Make sure that we have the correct paper size, in this case, letter size. And that is it. Color, premium photo paper glossy, color, quality options set to whatever quality you want. ICM has to be chosen. Sheet feeder, letter size, and OK. So basically that is it. That's the settings that you're going to use to print through the driver. And the printer driver is going to go ahead and do simply just like it did with the Canon printer. It's going to apply the correct matching ICC profile as long as you're using EPSON papers. It has to be. You cannot be using another brand. You will not have a match. It will not know what to do. And so your results are not going to be as good as if you were matching your paper choice with an actual paper matching that choice. And that applies to EPSON as well as Canon. All right. And we have our standard image here loaded already. So we'll go ahead and open it. Now notice I get a message here. And I'll show you how to set that up so that you always get this message. You don't mess up, because this is a ProPhoto RGB file and you do not want to change the embedded color space. Okay, you want to open it as what it is intended to be, a ProPhoto RGB file. Notice it says the document printer evaluation image V002 has an embedded color profile that does not match the current RGB working space. What does that mean? Well, I have set my Photoshop application to work under Adobe RGB 1998, which is a standard higher than sRGB color space. For most of my images, that's what I work in. I don't shoot in ProPhoto RGB, so I don't have a need for that. But this image that we have here, it is embedded at ProPhoto RGB, so we really do not want to change that. Don't worry about the jargon. Don't worry about it. Just follow my instructions. In this case, we do not want to change it. I'm going to let it use the embedded profile instead of the working space of Photoshop. There we go. We have opened it. And now this image is being displayed to me, the user, as its correct color working space. Now, in order to be able to get that warning, let me show you what you need to do. Absolutely need to do. Now, you will not have to do that with your Lightroom or your Qimage, but in Photoshop you need to go to edit, then come on down to color settings, and here basically all you need to do, profile mismatches, click on that, ask when opening, missing profiles, click on that, ask when opening, and I always also click on this one here, hit OK. From now on you will get that warning and you will not mistakenly open it and then change that color space of that evaluation image to my working color space, which happens to be Adobe RGB 1998. Again, make sure you do that and you will be fine. Now all we have to do, we're not going to edit it. I don't care what it looks like on my display at this moment. Maybe my display is not fully calibrated properly. Okay, so what we're going to go ahead and do next is File and Print. Do not edit this, okay? Do not change it. And here we go. We got the Pro-100 chosen. Let's go ahead and check our settings just to make sure. Paper Pro Luster, photo printing, color intensity, manual adjustment is clicked. Let's go ahead and double check that that is set at ICM, correct. And high quality, letter size, and okay. We're gonna go ahead and hit print. And when we hit print, we're gonna get this. Look on the lower right side so you can see me showing the results that you should be getting. That is all you have to do. Let's go ahead and jump over to Qimage. There's not going to be any difference in how we set this up, except Qimage will allow you to open up your ProPhoto RGB without any kind of mismatch. So let's go ahead and click on Qimage here. We're going to go ahead and load that. As you can see, my paper is not matched. I'm printing with 8x10. Qimage remembers your last settings, by the way. So we're going to go ahead and change that to the correct printer. And semi-gloss, no, that's not what we're using. We are using Pro Luster. We're going to let the driver control color. Basically, you click on this little drop-down indicator here and let the printer driver control color. So now it's going to match. Notice, printer driver color matching settings have been auto-applied. You don't even have to think twice about making sure that the driver is set to ICM. Let's check that to make sure. This is a new feature in Qimage, by the way. So we have Paper Pro Luster, high, everything is photo printing and letter size. We're going to click on the color intensity manual adjustment matching ICM. Look at that. Even if it was not set correctly, it will be set correctly for you. That is it. Print. Click that print button up there and you should be able to get a perfect result. Qimage is telling the driver, hey, I want you to control color because I let the driver control color here. If I choose to have Qimage control color, it will find the correct profile for that particular paper and that particular printer for you pretty much automatically as well. We're not going to talk about that in this video because it's something of a new feature, and basically your results will be the same. How about Lightroom? So basically, as you can see so far, all we are doing is letting the driver control color. All we are doing is letting the driver use ICM matching and the correct paper. And that's it. That's all you need to do. Let's go ahead and close that. We'll open up Lightroom. Now, I don't have that image loaded. In order to open something through Lightroom, you have to have it imported. So since I'm already here at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and print this particular aerial shot of my neighbor's backyard. Her backyard is a lot nicer than mine, so I went ahead and photographed it via one of my drones, as you can see. We'll choose this one here. So what we will do is basically go to the print module. This is your develop module where you perform all of your edits. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how to edit an image for a perfect white and black point. And that's very important when it comes to black and white or monochrome printing, which is the subject of this little series. I'm also going to take you through how to adjust your actual colors, because we're going to go ahead and convert this to a black and white. You will be able to adjust your reds, your greens, your yellows, your blues to different densities, because remember, you're working with nothing but gray tones. Go to the print module. We're going to hit the page setup all the way over here. Follow the icon. Boom. Page setup. This opens up the driver. Properties. And again, we just want to make sure that everything is correct. And it is not, because it remembers your last settings. Photo Paper Pro Luster. And we want high, and we want letter size and color intensity manual adjustment, and we want to set to ICM. Boom and boom. We are set to print. The driver has been set. Nothing to do with Lightroom, okay? We basically jumped over to the driver, which is accessible at the page setup tab. We're gonna scooch on over to the right all the way down. And because we're working with a Canon printer, see, Canon and Epson have what they refer to as native printing resolution. They expect to get images that are set to 300 ppi, pixels per inch, or 360 pixels per inch if it's an Epson printer. So we're working with a Canon printer, so we just want to make sure that we have this set at 300. And we're printing on a lustrous paper, so they give you just two choices for your so-called default sharpening or post sharpening. Again, that's another subject. Glossy or matte. Well, our paper has a certain degree of gloss or luster, so we're going to choose glossy. Manage by printer or not, you see. So you're going to let the printer manage color. That's it. Print. And you should be able to get a really, really good rendition of your standard image. And that's basically all you have to do. Now, here's a theory, guys. Because this image contains examples of just about everything you're going to encounter in your own particular images. You have little portraits of kids here. So that's your flesh tones. You have basically like a big still life with all sorts of stuff. It has color checker passport card, all of that for your color matching. You have all these out of gamut colors right here, which will tell you how well your printer performs with extreme colors. You have subdued colors, and this is mostly what you normally encounter, from black to fully saturated, and from fully saturated to white. The most important feature of this image is the ramp from black to white. That will give you an idea how linearly neutral your printer is able to print. You want to have no change in hue along that whole trip from 0 to 255. You do not want to have any kind of shift in tonality. And then you have a bunch of other images here that you can use to visually compare the results that your printer is producing. If you get a perfectly neutral central picture, you see that is an electron microscopy type image. It is a monochrome print. If that comes out neutral, why shouldn't your own images come out neutral? Okay. In theory, it should be just the same results. Neutral here, neutral here. Okay, and that is it. That's the biggest headache people will have now. I'm going to tell you something that you need to avoid. And I don't have a Mac here with me, but Mac allows you to click on something in the driver or the so-called printing module of most applications that you use called Print Preview. Make sure you turn that off. Please turn that off. That tends to automatically introduce a magenta shift. So turn any kind of preview off and you should be able to get a nice neutral result. Okay, this may have gone a little bit too long again. These videos are not for the short attention span people. Okay, please get that. I go through full detail. My phone just rang and I had to do a cutaway. I hope you don't mind that. But anyway, yes. So make sure that you watch the whole thing. I know it can get long-winded, but again, I'm trying to give you as much information as possible. So please bear with me. These videos are not going to be quickies. In 2 minutes, I explain the world. No, it's not going to happen. It's going to be detailed and it's going to be rather long. So make sure you watch everything. That way you will not have any questions that I may not have addressed within the video series. Thank you so much. The next video will be about conversion of color images. And I'm going to specifically use Lightroom. So make sure that you watch that. And I'll show you the magical things you can do with just a bunch of the sliders that they provide you in one of the tabs in the develop module. Lightroom was created for photographers by photographers. It's not a graphic art type application. It is a, by the name itself, light room, because we no longer work in the dark room. Makes sense, right? Okay, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. And until the next time, happy printing, everybody. Bye-bye.